Supervisor Garcia, friends, voters, Ms. Rivero, welcome to this next edition of our exciting new podcast of the Office of the Supervisor of Elections titled The Ballot Brief with Alina Garcia. I'm your host, Juan Mendieta, the Director of Strategic Communications here at the Office of the Supervisor, the Honorable Alina Garcia. And of course, I'm joining the Supervisor of Elections, Alina Garcia. It's always great to be with you on this new podcast. And joining us today as well is Angie Rivero, who is the Deputy Supervisor for Poll Worker Recruitment and Training, which is critically important and really at the core of our election success. So we had a great discussion last month during episode 2 on our logic and accuracy testing with Ms. Jessica Oliveira. We talked about the new equipment, which makes our elections even more secure and more transparent. But on this episode, we're really going to focus on November 4th. And also looking forward to our primary and runoff elections on December 9th. So, Madam Supervisor, what was your assessment of November 4th? What were lessons learned? What would you like to say about this past election?
Well, Mr. Mendieta, thank you so much for this wonderful podcast. And Angie Rivero, thank you very much for all you do. I want you to know that I have the best team. The best team is at the Office of the Supervisor of Elections. I have a great team because you know, when voting comes around, there's so many precincts in so many different areas, and there are so many moving parts that if I don't have a great team, it won't happen. So November 4th was it was a very good experience. You know, it was not my first election as Supervisor of Elections, but it was my biggest elections since I became Supervisor of Elections in January. And we had municipal elections for the city of Miami, Miami Beach, Hialeah, Homestead, and Surfside. And we're going to be having runoffs because in some of these, some of the candidates didn't get 50% plus more. So in the city of Miami, in the city of Hialeah, and in the city of Miami Beach, we will be having elections come December 9th. Tuesday, December 9th, and I always say that's the last day to vote because we always have vote by mail and early voting and all of those things. So our last opportunity to vote is actually on Election Day. By 7 p.m., we need to have cast our vote, and our absentee ballots or mail-in ballots need to have been received at the Office of Elections.
So, of course, as I mentioned, one of the ingredients of success for November 4th and all elections are the amazing poll workers who we have.
Absolutely.
We have thousands of poll workers who come in. You should be commended, Madam Supervisor, because you spent your day out in the community visiting dozens of polling sites in all those 5 cities, and you encountered some amazing poll workers, the gentleman at the City Hall, others who've been with us for many, many years. So I'd like to turn to Ms. Rivero to talk about that process. How do we recruit these people who are so essential for our elections? And in the end, what makes them so successful? It has to be that great training they go through.
Yes, they go through great training. She does a great job.
Thank you. During elections such as the Hialeah General, Miami, and Miami Beach runoffs, the poll worker recruitment and training team calls back a series of poll workers and also in-house staff that does a lot of what happens behind the scenes. So we have support staff on site that have about 20 for the runoffs that help us with administrative support and help us with the actual scheduling of the poll workers to make sure that they're in the correct trainings ahead of the election and have them set up to work the runoff as it is. For Miami Beach, we have 200 poll workers that will be deploying. In Hialeah, 371. In the city of Miami, 754. Having consistently committed and knowledgeable trainers is critical to ensure poll workers are adequately trained by statutory requirement, right? So there are statutory requirements for being trained ahead of each election that a poll worker works. So we have a very great retention rate for these trainers that host these trainings, and it's a testament not only to them, but to the office and to the democratic process that they feel very, very strongly and passionate about what they do and the trainings that they conduct. This year, we did incorporate a training survey that not only evaluated the trainers, but how effective the information was being relayed to them. And we had a 97 satisfaction rate.
Wow, that's awesome. Yes. Congratulations.
Thank you. Aside from that, the positions that are out in each of these polling places, you have your ES, who is your election specialist, and they are the technical support with the EVID, and the DS 300s, along with provisional ballots. The clerks are leadership, and they oversee the entire board and responsible for required paperwork. Assistant clerks are the leadership that are responsible for making sure accurate ballot distribution is happening out at the polling locations, which is very critical as well. We have EVID inspectors. The EVID is your electronic voter identification system. Currently, we are using the EVID Compact for Election Day. And those specific inspectors are the ones checking in your voters as they come in to vote and making sure they have the required ID in order to vote.
Important.
Right. Then we have our ballot table inspectors that ensure the correct ballot and the amount of pages are being given to each of the voters. So they have a sign off that happens with them and with the voter just to make sure that everything's being distributed accurately. And then the last person we have is our poll deputy. And what they do is maintain the 150 no solicitation boundary. They maintain order outside, and they monitor the 75-foot exit polling area as well.
So what's amazing is that these people are not only very professional and knowledgeable, but they're also very friendly. We saw a lot of smiling faces. They're engaging, which is important. You see first-time voters, people who are coming in maybe with some apprehension, but our poll workers really put people at ease. And what did you experience when you went out? What type of people did you encounter when you were out at the polls?
Well, we have great poll workers, and that's a testament to the job that you guys do. We have poll workers that are bilingual to attend to the entire community, not only Spanish and English, but also Spanish and Creole. We have some Creole speakers so that all the people can understand what they're talking about and they feel at home. It was a very nice experience. I've always worked election. Oh, is that some coffee that we have there coming in?
I think we need it. We need some energy.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Cafecito.
We always have cafecito interruptions on these shows. It is perfectly permissible. We encourage it. I'm still waiting for a croqueta break. I haven't seen that come through, or a Jamaican patty break, but maybe we can set that up for the next one.
That would be great.
But here we are again in our branded SOE
Thank
Demitasse,
you, Adrian.
which we use to engage with our voters on a daily basis.
Thank you very much. So,
Thank you.
so our polls were, it was a very nice experience. Our poll workers all, were doing what they were supposed to be doing and taking care of the people, and with a lot of patience. We went to one of the sites that we went to in the city of Miami. There was the clerk there. She was wonderful, with so much patience and so much kindness and love. The way she treated that community, it was that polling place specifically was at an elderly housing area. So they had a lot of elderly people with their walkers, and everybody was very kind and helped them, get their ballots, go vote, and feel comfortable. So we had a great experience. And as I said, we have to have a great team in order to make elections work. And I am very, very proud of our team. And you guys do a great job, and I'm very, very happy to have you all on board.
Absolutely. So let's shift our attention to December 9th. Very important, Madam Supervisor. Of course, we have some deadlines coming up. November 27th is the deadline to receive or request a vote-by-mail ballot. But tell us about December 9th. Why is it critically important? You were able to actually increase voter participation and turnout in this election compared to the last one in 2021, but we've seen things taper off between the primary and the runoff.
We live in the greatest country in the world, and a lot of people feel that we don't have to go out and vote because, we're going to have great government no matter what, but that's not true, Your voice is very important, and you need to know who you're voting for and what they represent. Sometimes you have candidates that want to raise your taxes. If you want your taxes to be raised, then you need to vote for that person. But if you don't want your taxes to be raised, you need to vote for the other person. So these specific elections that are coming up in the municipalities, in the city of Miami, in the city of Miami Beach, and in the city of Hialeah, we have elections December 9th, and it's very important that you go out to vote. municipal government is the government closest to the people and the one that most affects us. So ensure that if you live in Miami, Miami Beach, or Hialeah, you vote on this upcoming election for December 9th. We're going to have early voting in each of the municipalities for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. With the municipal elections, you have to vote within your municipality. So if you live in the city of Miami, you need to vote in the city of Miami. If you live in the city of Hialeah, you need to vote in the city of Hialeah. And if you live in Miami Beach, you need to vote in Miami Beach. And you can always request a vote by mail ballot before the 27th of this month. Or you can go online at votemiamidade.gov and request it online. So, I expect to see a higher turnout than we usually have for runoffs. That's my challenge. It's my challenge to myself, to my team, and to all of you, that we engage. In order to have a healthy democracy, we need people to vote. We need people that are engaged and people that care about their government enough to take, it's going to take you 10 minutes, and you're going to comply with your civic duty and help keep elections vibrant and safe and all of those wonderful things.
Well, Madam Supervisor, you're the catalyst, the spark plug. You bring so much energy, so I'm confident that we are going to be able to get the numbers that we're looking for. And again, vote by mail ballots, it's critically important that people who request them return those, that they utilize those. They return them to the early voting sites, or they return them on election day to our headquarters here in Doral. Tell us about vote by mail ballots and the importance of
super important. A lot of people did not return their vote by mail ballots, and that's very sad, because if you already have the ballot there, come on, 5 minutes. 5 minutes, it's all it takes. And you are going to be, having your voice heard. You're going to be part of our democracy, because when you vote, you become part of our democracy and freedom, which is so important. I was born in Cuba, and in Cuba, we don't have a democracy. We don't have any freedom, and we can't go out to vote in Cuba. So I encourage each and every one of you to ensure that if you live in the city of Miami, the city of Miami Beach, or the city of Hialeah, to go out and vote. In the city of Miami, we'll be voting for mayor and commissioner. In the city of Hialeah, we'll be voting for 2 commissioners. And in the city of Miami Beach, there's 1 commissioner on the ballot. But those commission seats are very important, because those are the people that help your mayor govern. So make sure you come out and vote. What can I say?
And one more issue on voting by mail. It is safe. It is secure. It's one of 3 ways to vote here in Florida. But in Florida, voting by mail is absolutely secure.
Well, the reason why it's secure in voting by mail in Florida is secure and not in other states is because we don't have universal ballots. In order to receive a vote by mail ballot, you need to request it. And when you request it, we check to make sure that the person that is requesting is the person actually that will be receiving the ballot. And, and then once we receive the ballot, we also check the signatures and all of those things. So it's very secure to vote by mail. I also urge people not to give their ballots to anyone unless it's a neighbor or somebody that they know. Maybe they're going to put it in the mailbox for them, or they're going to drop it off at an early voting site, or here at Election Central at 2700 Northwest 87th Avenue. You can always drop off a ballot here at the Office of the Elections. You can only drop off election ballots for at the early voting sites, which will be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. On Monday, you cannot drop off. There's no early voting. And on Tuesday, you cannot take your ballot to the precinct and turn it in. If you have your ballot and you can go to the precinct, then you can go ahead and vote. But you can always come here to Election Central at 2700 Northwest 87th Avenue if you want to bring your ballot personally.
And the important numbers, so early voting, vote by mail, if somebody wants to call, what is
Sure,
the
the number for vote by mail is 305-499-8444. That's 305-499-8444. Or you can go on our web, votemiamidade.gov.
And of course, the general number is 305-499-VOTE. Can't forget that one. That's an important one. So, ladies, I want to thank both of you for your candor and energy and making this show so successful, the Ballot Brief. But in closing, what is your final message? I want to begin with Angie. To poll workers or people who are thinking about it, what is your message to them?
We are always looking for new poll workers. We're always in the process of recruiting. If you would like To become a poll worker, feel free to contact us at 305-499-8448, or you can fill out the poll worker application online at votemiamidade.gov.
And Madam Supervisor, what is your final message in this podcast for
My
our voters?
final message is to ensure that everyone please go on and vote. That's your civic duty. We need to have a vibrant election. We need to have a vibrant democracy. And the way to do that is by going out to vote. So I'll see you at the polls. I'll be there with Mr. Mendieta this time around, right? So we're going to go back
Absolutely.
to all the polls and ensure that everything is working as it should be.
So Thanksgiving and the holiday season is just around the corner. I know that you're full of gratitude for our employees and our voters. Please close the show in the usual way you do, and maybe a Thanksgiving message.
Well, you know, I'm very grateful to live in the greatest country in the world and to live in freedom and democracy. And I'm very grateful because I have a beautiful family. I have 3 children, 11 grandkids, and I am very blessed. So I only wish those blessings upon you, and we have to be grateful. We have to be grateful because we do live in the greatest country in the world. A lot of people don't have half of what we have. So let's focus on what we have, and let's thank God, you know, and God bless you, and God bless this wonderful county of Miami-Dade.